The Miami Hurricanes trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive by going on the road to Blacksburg, Virginia to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. This game's 12 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. The big thing for Miami right now is it's not just, a just win, right? They kind of need some style points, do they not? They're sitting there last week, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. They're sitting there at, 15th or so. So there is a path, but it's a bit tenuous, is it not? We know that there's a very narrow path to get to the ACC title game. So the only way Miami's probably going to get there without having a lot of help is by taking care of business and taking care of business in convincing fashion. So they got to be dominant at Virginia Tech. They got to be dominant at Pitt because the committee will evaluate things like style points and game control and dominance and things like that. So a sluggish, 24-17 win against a team that's 3-7, that's not going to do a whole lot to strengthen the opinion of what Miami might be able to be. So I think the Hurricanes know this. I think everybody sees this. And if you look at how they've responded, you get the disappointing loss to SMU. They come out and put together their most complete performance to date with a domination, absolutely dominant performance against NC State, where they outgained the Wolfpack by over 400 yards. So massive. Question number one, can Virginia Tech run the football? Because the Hokies offense is all about their run game, right? It's not really a choice. It's what they have to be. And the rushing offense is pretty respectable. Like they can get it going a little bit through Kyron Drones, their quarterback, and Marcellus Hawkins, their running back. Now, Drones has over 570 yards rushing, while Hawkins is the primary back. He's gone for about 670. And if you look at Miami, they're one of the best defenses in the ACC. They also are really good, just statistically speaking, scoring defense, total defense, you name it, they're very solid. But the core of their identity on that side of the ball is stopping the run. They are elite up front along the defensive line. Very few teams have had a ton of success running the football. They've given up just 6 rushing touchdowns with their first 9 games. So their plan will be very obvious. They're going to sell out completely to stop the run. Question number 2, can Miami's banged up secondary contain a pedestrian passing attack? Now, if you look at the Hokies passing attack, it's among the worst in the FBS. They average just over 175 yards a game through the air. Well, Kyron Drones, super dynamic with the ball in his hands. The passer rating is not great, and the yards per attempt numbers are not great as well. So the offense might be a bit predictable because they're going to try to sell out and run the football, but they're going to have to try to take advantage of a Miami secondary that is going to be without some key players. Keontae Scott, their star nickel. The guy has been one of the best players in the country. He's out. Mario Cristobal called the injury severe, I believe was the word he actually used. And his loss cannot be overstated. He's probably the top nickel defender in the ACC, maybe one of the tops in the entire country. And he was a disruptive force, too. It wasn't just in coverage, but the way he penetrated, the way he made plays behind the line of scrimmage. The guy had 10 tackles for loss as a corner. That's pretty impressive. So when you take into account just how important he is, that's a big absence there in the Miami secondary. They're also potentially going to be without O.J. Frederick, who's starting corner, could miss his 3rd consecutive game. So that banged up secondary with the backups that they might be having to utilize, can they hold down the fort against a passing attack that's not likely to create a lot of big opportunities through the air? And then question number 3, can Carson Beck continue his bounce back? Because there's been 2 versions of Carson Beck this year. The really good Carson Beck, like we saw against NC State, where he goes 21-27 for 291 and 3 touchdowns. He also had a great game against Florida State. We've seen him really play at a high level throughout most of the year. But there have been a couple of games where it's just not very clean. The operation has not been good. And he has thrown a decent amount of picks this year. He has at times been a little bit too aggressive. And the best example of that was the loss to Louisville when he threw 4 picks. And it's a Virginia Tech defense that'll give up points. They'll give up nearly 30 a game. So they're not going to be able to stop Miami's offense if Carson Beck is making really good decisions and is dialed in throughout the plan. Now, if Virginia Tech had any passing attack, I could kind of get behind them playing the spoiler here, but I don't trust their offense, and I think Miami can make them one-dimensional. Miami just can't make mistakes, and they should be just fine beating Virginia Tech by a convincing margin.